Every person fights two battles. The first with the world around them, the second with the voice inside, and it's the second one that decides who you become. You can win every argument, every debate, every race, but if you lose the battle inside your own mind, you'll lose it all. Liam knew this battle too well. On the outside, everything looked fine, a steady job, a polite smile. But at night, when the world went silent, the noise inside his head was deafening. Every morning, Liam woke up to two voices. One whispered, "You can." The other shouted, "You're not enough." He wanted to believe the first one, but the second one, it sounded too familiar. It sounded like his teacher who said he wasn't leadership material, like his friend who laughed when he shared his dreams, like his own reflection, whispering, "You'll never make it." So he learned to hide behind routine, wake up, go to work, smile, repeat. It was easier to blend in than to break through, but deep down he knew he wasn't living, he was just existing. One night, after another long day at a job he didn't love, Liam sat in front of his laptop, screen glowing. His dream project, untouched for months, his heart heavy with the weight of someday. Hours passed. The clock struck midnight, and he whispered to himself, "Maybe it's time to stop pretending. Maybe this dream just isn't for me." The room stayed silent, but deep inside something broke. That night he closed his laptop, but he couldn't close his thoughts. As he lay in bed, eyes open in the dark, he remembered his mentor's words. "You don't lose when you fall. You lose when you stop getting up." And in that stillness, a small, stubborn part of him whispered back, "Not tonight." The next morning, he didn't wait for motivation. He didn't wait to feel ready. He just started. One task, then another, then another. It wasn't perfect, but it was something. Days turned into weeks. He began rising earlier, working quietly before the city woke. He failed more times than he succeeded, but he learned something important. Discipline beats doubt, because the moment he stopped negotiating with his fear, his life began to change. But the battle wasn't over. One evening, after weeks of progress, his project crashed. Days of work gone in seconds. The voice returned, louder than ever. "See? I told you. You're not cut out for this." He threw his hands over his face. The screen blurred. For a moment, it felt like everything was falling apart again. But then, he saw his own reflection in the black monitor. His inner voice spoke to him. "You're not weak, not broken. You're just tired, but still standing." Liam whispered to himself, "No, not this time." That moment changed everything, because he finally understood. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's deciding to move forward in spite of it. Months passed, the storms didn't stop, and somewhere between the late nights and early mornings, he kept working on his abandoned project, not with grand plans, but with a blank page, because something inside him refused to stay silent. He stopped chasing validation. He didn't chase perfection anymore. He chased honesty. Each morning he'd sit by the window, coffee beside him, the city just waking, and he'd pour his heart and mind onto the page, draft after draft. Word after word, he created from truth until his pain and struggles became paragraphs. And slowly, the project he once feared to finish became a mirror, showing him not what he'd lost, but who he'd become. One afternoon, he posted one of his ideas online. No hashtags, no expectations, just truth. By evening, the messages began to flood in. One comment read, "I needed this today. This saved my project. Please don't stop sharing your knowledge." He stared at the screen, not in disbelief, but in peace, because for the first time, He wasn't trying to prove anything. He was just sharing a piece of his work. He was just being himself. He didn't win an award that day, but he won something far greater. He felt connected, the fulfillment of being a blessing. Because real success isn't about being seen by the world, it's about touching someone's heart. In that moment, Liam realized the world hadn't changed, but he had. He just had to believe again. Because when you write your truth, you don't just tell a story, you become one, and the world finds you. It is said that the loudest war is the one no one sees. Every day, your mind will try to convince you to quit, to play small, to stay quiet. But you are not your fear. You are what you choose to believe beyond it. So today, when that voice of doubt gets loud, let your courage speak louder, because sometimes the most powerful victory isn't the one the world applauds. It's the one no one sees when you choose to fight again. One day, you'll look back and realize it was never about how far you climbed, but how much you grew along the way. Because peace isn't found at the top. It's found when you finally stop running and start believing again.
If this story moved you, like, share, and subscribe to Roots and Rebels for more powerful stories of resilience, courage, and transformation.